Alright guys, so with AS and A-level results and also GCSE results coming out in about 2 to 3 weeks, I thought I'd make a video just basically explaining what my predicaments and issues were when getting pretty bad results for both AS and A2. So I did my GCSEs back in 2013 and I did pretty well. I got 10 A's. So I was going into AS pretty certain that I would also do well in my AS exams, not knowing that AS exams are different in terms of how you have to prepare compared to GCSEs. Come to AS exam time, obviously I'm skipping through lots of it because this is more about my experience and it's more of a story rather than explaining what not to do and what to do, etc. But anyway, comes to AS exam time, I'd done pretty badly in my courseworks. There was some politics surrounding that, believe it or not, but I did catastrophically badly in my the chemistry ISA and the physics AS ISA. I got E's in them or something. Yeah, pretty bad anyway. So I felt pretty prepared for the exams, for chemistry at least. Also for maths and biology. Physics not so much, but I thought I did okay. I did all the standard stuff, do all the past papers, learn the mark schemes, all of that. Come to results day, I wasn't feeling too bad about it because I thought, okay, I'd prepared somewhat well, at least in my head. So I was expecting maybe an A in biology because I thought, learned all the mark schemes. I thought the papers went well, so I thought, okay, definitely an A in this. B in maths, because obviously back then, this is when all the mark schemes for the maths exam would go straight on student room, and I pretty much added up all the marks. I thought, okay, probably a B in maths, a B in chemistry because I thought, okay, despite doing badly in the course, chemistry is my strongest subject, so I've probably done quite well in the exams. B in chemistry and a C in physics. So come to results day, only sadness and disaster awaited me in that envelope on that fated day, and I ended up getting a B in biology, B in maths, so that's pretty much what I expected, a C in chemistry, and a D in AS physics. Believe it or not, the subject, sorry, the lights in my eyes, I think I'll just leave it. The subject that I wanted to apply for at university, I had actually got a C in. So this was pretty disastrous on my part, and I felt pretty disheartened. So yeah, I got pretty bad AS results. I got B, B, C, D. The funny thing is that no one got above a C in AS chemistry in my year. So my dignity was somewhat intact because I was the chemistry guy. I was meant to be good at chemistry. I was a shell of my former self at that point. So now we skip forward to A2 year. So a sequence of events happens here, which I'm not going to go too much into detail with because it will take an entire video to explain. But essentially what I decided to do, for whatever reason I thought in my idiot head back then, was to retake pretty much half my AS exams, so pretty much all of AS chemistry I retook, including the coursework. I retook one physics exam and the coursework for that, despite not doing A2 physics for some reason. I picked up AS maths, again for reasons unknown to me, or even anyone on this planet. Retook one biology exam and I think 2 maths exams. I think I did S1 and C1 retake. Yeah, I retook C1. Anyway, I had 16 exams across May and June for A2. This is ridiculous. Most people had 6 or 7, including retakes. I had 16. Applied to university for chemistry. But the course I really wanted to do was chemistry and maths. So the only place that at the time I wanted to do that course in was UCL because I was in London. I was dead set on studying in London back at that time. And the only university that offered the chemistry and maths course in London was UCL, and in fact I think only 5 or 6 courses outside of natural sciences offer chemistry and maths in the UK. So that's an important point, remember that one because that comes relevant later. So I applied to UCL, Bath, Warwick, Nottingham and Birmingham. So UCL was chemistry and maths and the rest were for M-Chem chemistry. I think Bath was M-Chem chemistry with a placement. Bear in mind these are pretty good universities. They're all either A, B, B, 2 A's and a B for Bath, and UCL was either 2 A's and a B or 3 A's. I got rejected from UCL, which was actually, I found that pretty devastating at the time, but actually it's pretty expected. I wasn't going to get into UCL with those AS grades. To my surprise, I got 4 out of 5 offers. Firm, I ended up putting as Bath, which was 2 A's and a B, and then my insurance I put as Warwick, which was A and 2 B's. I did all 16, or it might have been 17 actually. 17 of those A-level and AS exams across May and June, and then it comes to results day, and I remember I was on holiday in Turkey and my flight got delayed on the way back, which meant that I got back at 3 AM in the morning of results day, so I didn't sleep. I remember I played Modern Warfare 2, and I specifically remember it was 6 AM, I was playing Domination Ground War on Invasion. I remember it so well. and it was time to, leave. So I got dressed, everything. I checked my track, the UCAS track. You can check it before results come out to see if you, got accepted into your university or not. And I saw that I didn't get into either Bath or Warwick, which are my firm and insurance. So I thought, okay, flip, like this is pretty bad. But the best case scenario is I got like A, B, C, because my insurance was A, B, B. So I thought, okay, maybe I missed my insurance by 1 grade, in which case it's not the end of the world. And I was expecting an A in chemistry, a B in maths, and I was actually expecting an A in biology as well. So I was expecting 2 A's and a B. So I got to results, I got to school, opened that envelope, and what lay there was just, I can't put into words how bad it was. Like, I'd have to go on a thesaurus and type in devastating and use all of the words that come up. Catastrophic, cataclysmic, I'm just lost for words as to how I felt when I saw that. We're talking like global level catastrophe here, like DEFCON 5. It was so bad. It was so bad. And after a few remarks on that, I ended up with an A and 2 C's, a C in AS Physics, which I decided to retake for no reason, from a D from the previous year, so I didn't even improve that much, and also a D in AS Further Maths, so I had nothing to show for that either. In the end, I went into clearing and I got a place at Southampton for a BSc in Chemistry starting in 2015, which was the year that I did A2 for the first time. Now, long story short, what I ended up doing was deferring the year, so I kept my place at Southampton. All I did was email the admission and say, look, I don't think it's time for me to come to university yet. I'm going to retake a few exams, but I'd like to keep my place and start it next year. And that process was so easy. All it was literally 2 emails, and then I had to adjust something on my track, and that was it. My place was secured, but for the following year. Now, I went to my school and I negotiated my way back in. I just basically, look, I want to retake A2 Maths and also take A2 Physics, just so I'm actually there for a reasonable amount of time per week. So I was only at school for A2 Physics lessons, which I was doing for the first time, and also retaking A2 Maths, which I was studying for at home. I only had 6 exams that year. It was much more manageable. I grew a lot in terms of, my mentality, physically as well. I was in the gym a lot. So that was a really good year for me. I really developed that year, and it was good that I took that year out. And it came to results day the following year, and ended up getting an A and 2 Bs. I got an A in chemistry, which I already had. I got a B in A2 Maths and a B in physics, and then also the C from the previous year for biology. And my AS Further Maths grade also went up to a C because they rearranged my maths modules. So yeah, I did okay in the end. So I went through 2 astonishingly bad results days. Then I got my actual results at the end of it, which turned out to be an A and 2 Bs, which, aren't the greatest results, They're not like top tier, 3 A stars, all of that. But they're good enough. They were good enough for me to get onto the course I wanted to do. And actually what I ended up doing was, now this is the point I referred to earlier, I always wanted to do chemistry and maths. So when it came to results day in 2016, I went back into clearing and transferred from the BSc chemistry to MChem with maths at Southampton. After all of that, I ended up doing the course I wanted to do in the first place. So it turned out pretty well for me, I would say. I've just finished 3 years of that course at Southampton, and funnily enough, I decided to graduate with only a BSc in chemistry. The irony of it is that, all of that work I went through and through that gap year and A-levels was to do chemistry and maths, and actually I graduated with just a BSc in chemistry. And the reason for that is because I decided to take up a PhD in what's called chemical artificial intelligence. It's basically using neural networks and machine learning to analyze spectroscopic data. Yeah, I'm starting that in September. So it's actually funny how things work out, going through all those grades. Imagine, this is the take-home point actually, if you're watching this. This really just summarizes the entire video, is that I got a C in AS Chemistry, and now I'm starting a PhD in chemistry just a couple years later. So it's funny how things work out if you just have patience and try to be rational and deal with things accordingly. I'm sure stranger things have happened, but yeah, if you end up with bad results, the key thing is to not freak out. I understand that emotions will run high and you'll feel sad and depressed and everything, but there's a time and place for that. But what you need to also understand is that, feeling emotional and not doing anything about it is it is literally not gonna move you forward from that situation. You know, when I got my AS results, you know, sitting in my room and being upset wouldn't have helped the situation at all. Instead, what I did was, okay, take it back to the drawing board and think to myself, what do I need to retake? What steps do I need to make? How do I need to adjust my personal statement? What universities can I no longer look at? What universities should I be looking at with my AS grades? And then for better or for worse, the decision I made was, like I explained before, to take 17 exams. Now, obviously that was a tactical error, and it was the worst decision that I could have made, but I'm glad that I stuck with it, because it's a decision that I made for myself, despite everyone telling me not to. But I stuck with it, and I learned the consequences. I learned the lesson of, you know, taking too much on, etc., and all the lessons from that. And the following year, I, you know, referred to what had happened the previous year before that, and I said, okay, retaking that many exams is a bad idea. Let me just retake something, or a number of exams, that is manageable, and I reap the benefits of it. So I always, you know, tried to think, okay, what have I done in the past, and what's worked and what hasn't worked. When it came to 2015, when I got the A2 results, I said to myself, look, you've managed to get a place, but how would you now get onto the course that you want to be doing? Because you're not doing the specific course that you want to do. So I looked into my options. I emailed the admissions tutor. I said, look, can I defer a year? Can I do this? Can I do that? Emailed my director of head of sixth form. Can I retake maths? Can I do this? Can I do that? And I just took the steps, step by step, piece by piece, and then, you know, made a plan, followed the plan, and alhamdulillah, everything worked out. That's just kind of a very paraphrased, very summarized shorthand story of what happened to me in the past. Well, it must have been between 2013 and 2016. So those 3 years. And I'm just here to prove a point that if you get terrible results or bad results or whatever, that it's not the end of the world. And typically things do change for the better. And in my case, it did. Things have worked out for the best, I think. I think if I had gone to university in 2015 when I was meant to, things might have not panned out the way that they have. And yeah, if I was to change anything in the past, I don't think there's a specific event, even in, you know, the failures, like decided to take 17 exams, I wouldn't change that, because it's all led up to something that I'm really happy with. I'm now on a PhD course at a university that I've loved studying at for the past 3 years, and I've got the opportunity to be there for another 4 years, you know, doing research in something that I think is worthwhile. So yeah, I guess that's it really. If anyone's got any questions, let me know in the comments. Next video will probably be about the car. I've done a few things to it. I'm gonna get a service done, and I'll show you all the little things I've done to it on the outside. But yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys soon, hopefully.